Government. We're standing in front of what used to be the pulp mill here in Smooth Rock Falls, owned by Tembec. It operated for a number of years under Abitibi, eventually being sold off to Mallets and eventually off to Tembec. And through this last 3 or 4 years, the downturn in the economy, about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, the Tembec made a corporate decision, quite to the chagrin of the municipality of Smooth Rock Falls and others, to shut down this mill, which has meant that this whole plant is now idle. It's shut down, not temporary, but permanently, and all of the jobs that were associated with it in the community have been, basically lost. We asked for one thing from the provincial government, and it was quite unfortunate that we didn't get it. We asked that they be there in order to be able to work with us to try to put together a plan to keep that. So we had asked the provincial government to do something fairly simple. If they weren't at the very least going to help us to try to find some way to restructure this to a new employer, at the very least they should keep the fiber tied to the community and the power dams tied to the community, because if the fiber is tied to the community when the economy turns, you're able to restart either this plant or you're able to start up some other sort of value-added plant when it comes to forestry. And associated with this mill, what is really the real travesty here, is a power dam that was owned and operated by Abitibi, eventually by Tembec, and those dams were that dam was set up with the permission to generate electricity to operate this mill. And with the closure of the mill, what the province should have done is transferred that dam onto the municipality, so then the municipality has some asset that it can then use in order to lever somebody to invest in their community. So the community could have said, come and invest in Smooth Rock Falls, we have fiber and we have cheap electricity, and it would have put Smooth Rock Falls in a position of really being able to do something quite interesting. Unfortunately, provincial government has said no to both, and I'm sure that Mayor Kevin Somer here will have something to say about all of this.
Well, thanks, Gilles. You're very correct. We did go to the minister and the ministries, and we continue to go to the minister and the ministries looking for support and to gain access to have some form of ownership or be sitting at the table when it comes to the natural resources in and around Smooth Rock Falls. And Gilles has spoken to the forest and to the water lease agreements. They are extremely valuable to the community of Smooth Rock Falls to regenerate economic growth, and there is some interest, I shouldn't say some, there is great interest in value-added products to the forestry market that have been non-traditional, and we still are moving forward with those, and we need the minister, the other ministries, and the Prime Minister at this point in time, as well as the Premier of Ontario, to come up to Northern Ontario, not just to Smooth Rock Falls, but to all of Northern Ontario, and recognize the synergies and the opportunities that exist, and make sure that it happens, and that these communities stay alive, and that families get back to work and get on with living their lives, and not worrying about how they're going to pay their next month's hydro bill. We need that support, we need that discussion, and we need it now. We are at the 11th hour, and there are, again, interested parties that have looked at Northern Ontario but seek access to the forests, and that takes public consultation with the ministers and the ministries.
And this is really the frustrating part, because it's not like the town of Smooth Rock Falls is asking for a whole bunch of money. All that the town of Smooth Rock Falls want is the government to change its policy to say when a mill shuts down, the fiber stays tied to the community. That gives them the fiber to be able to offer up to somebody else to start up another plant of some type. And the power dams were power dams that were licensed by the province in order to operate this mill. So clearly those the power lease agreements should stay with the municipality, so that they're in a position to say we have something interesting. So again, we're not asking for a lot of money. All we're asking for is the province to be there and to be of assistance to us by changing those policies. And unfortunately, they choose not to. And as a result, the value of real estate here, you can probably buy a house in Smooth Rock Falls. If you're looking right now, we've got lots of them for sale for how much?
Oh, anywhere for probably starting at as little as $5,000, some for less, I guess, with back taxes, depending on what the condition is. And homes that would retail in North Bay and Sudbury for $250,000, probably for $40,000 to $50,000, and those same properties in a community like Toronto would probably be worth $500,000. So if this message gets to any of the people in Southern Ontario, we've got some prime real estate with some prime recreational opportunities in not only Smooth Rock Falls but in Northern Ontario. So if you're retired, looking for a good place to live, clean living, look to Smooth Rock Falls and other properties here in Northern Ontario.